Hello again, everyone. I would like to make a really quick, clean and simple card today using this little flower die from Simon's Stamp. It's, I think it's Arctic Poppy or something, but isn't it sweet? And it's got some dimensional pieces as well. I thought I would make a tiny slatted centre to this card. So this is the smallest of the square slatted set from Craft Addiction UK. The outer one, for the panel of the card, I have used a press cut die, and it's a double dotted and stitched. I'll show you what I mean by double dotted and stitched. Let's get it off. The edge has got a piercing dot and a stitch. It's like Morse code going round, dot dash all the way round. So to try and link in with that, I want to use another of, it's a nesting set, this press cut set of double stitch dies, and because it's double stitch, you've got the markings either side of the line. That means if I were to cut a panel like this, I would have it. If I was to cut an aperture, the stitching would still be on. But I don't want to cut this, I want to emboss this around this little square here. So I'm going to tape it in place because it won't stay where it's supposed to be if I don't. So a bit of low tack tape. This is my low tack tape from Sticks to Anything. I love that their products. That some of them are just, well, all of them are good, but some are just exceptional. I think that's about right. And I'm just going to tape that there. Now, because I want to emboss it, not cut it, I'm going to exchange my bottom plate for a rubber mat. So here's my rubber mat. That's going to go on there instead of the bottom plate. This is going to go onto it with the pointy bit of the die facing down towards the rubber plate. And then I'm going to use my top embossing plate, which is this grey one. I'm just going to pop it through my machine. So let's take a look. Just carefully get this off. If ever you do have difficulty removing low tack tape, especially like this after it's been through a die cutting machine, you can always use your heat tool on a low setting just to warm the glue and it'll peel off easily. But Sticks to Anything low tack tape is fab. Very, very, very seldom does it damage the paper, and that's if it's been my fault rather than the tapes. So we've now got an embossed bit around the slats. Okay, now then, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to put any colour behind that or not as yet. I haven't coloured my flowers, but look at that. Whoa, lovely. These are going to go across it somehow. I mean, white on white would be nice, but I'm not going to do white on white today. Just look. That is just so understated, isn't it? But I'm going to colour it. So let's just get some pens. And I'm going to use pens today. Recently, I've been using Distress Oxides to colour my flowers, but I'm going to use markers today. So I have got some out. And again, I'm trying to choose colours that I don't normally gravitate towards. So I'll pop these on a bit of a magnet so I don't lose them. There we go. The big one can be hung up for the moment. Right, here are my flowers. So the colours I've chosen are really unusual for me. I mean, this cardigan's really unusual for me, but my daughter's partner bought it for me. I don't know if it was a colour I would have chosen for me, but I quite like it. Okay, let's do the greenery first, and I've got two colours, G220 and G240, beige green and lime green. Okay, Now I'm going to go right up into that bit. Some of that's going to be covered by that there. I'm just going to go down the left-hand side. There we go, around the left-hand side. Now the lighter one, we'll just go over the rest. There we are. Now for the coloured part, I have got Y4 and YR4. Y4 is quince. Doesn't look like the colour of the quince on my bush, but still. And YR4, which is salmon pink. Wow. Right. Okay. Right, this piece is the back piece. This bit is going to go on the top like that. So I'm going to do the darker all in the middle bit. I'm going to put some going up with the lines of the die cut, but mainly this bottom bit and this bit here in the middle. Okay, now this one. I'm going to do the bottom part of this. And this one. Now the lighter. Sometimes whether the end that you use of these markers determines the intensity of the colour. I guess it depends, you know, which end has most of the gravity has been pulling it towards. Let's just do a bit more of this one. Let's try the other end of this one as a matter of interest. I don't know which one's more intense of this, I'm sure. Okay. Like that a little bit more wavy. So, once these are put on, the depth of colour that you put in the middle there will look like shadow from this bit here. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of shaping. I can't find my yellow mat that I use, so I've got a different piece of foam here, but as long as it gives me a little bit of softness plus a bit of resistance, we'll be fine. Okay. I think shaping makes all the difference in the world. Just pushing the paper slightly. Okay. Now, in order to keep some of that shape up, I'm going to put a small piece of foam tape behind here. Not at the bottom, that's going to be glued to that bit there. But I'm going to put just a little bit to give it a bit of distance between the two layers. Okay, so this is just going to be... I wonder actually whether I would use one of the strips. Let me just see 1 minute. Here I've got some craft foam strips from Sticks to Anything, and they are in a variety of thicknesses, or width should I say. The ones on this side are really very narrow, going to wider ones here. So, you know, you can choose what you need for your project, really. So let's have a look at these. I think I could do with just a tiny little bit from one of those. So let's have a snip like that. We'll take off this little piece here, which should be perfect for in there. And some more for in the next one too. The backing off and pop that just there. Okay, now I want a bit of glue around this bit here and this bit here. Just around this edge, like that. There we go. And the same with this one, just on this lower border, this lower edge. Did I take the top off that? I don't think I did. I didn't take the top off this piece of foam strip. There it is. Better. Okay. There we go. Get that to sit down. Right. I think I'm going to put some shimmer onto this. Give it a good shake. Do like a bit of shimmer. Yeah. Let's get back to our card base, our panel. Have them crossed, have them straight, however you like really, but I think probably we'd like a small sentiment. Do we want them in the centre? That would be quite nice actually. Do we want a colour behind? Let's try a bit of the green behind. I'll just use a small piece of something. Here's a piece of scrap. So with the deeper one, I think, and the broad end, I can just do this. See what that looks like behind. Not bad. Let's try one of the others. A bit hectic. Let's put some of the other one on as well. like that actually. I was thinking I'd go with the green, but the green against it shows up quite nicely. Let's have a look at the other one again with the green in. No, I'm going to go with the yellow shades. We just have this. That can go behind there. And I think we'll have that. We have a choice. Do we have it flat like that and raise the whole lot? Or do we have that to the card base and raise this? I think we'll have that flat to this. Okay. Put my flowers on in a moment. So, I don't think I need to glue those really. I'll just put some tape around the outside here. Yeah, because not sticking them down, they give just a tiny bit of shadow, which is lovely. Right, glue, foam tape around the edge. Not very good guesstimation today. There we go. I put one little bit in so that this is all the same around. Okie dokie. Pop this onto the card. I do fancy having a sentiment though, I think. I'll look for one in a moment and then decide what we're going to do. But really, very quick card. It's just a large base with a small focal piece. Right. It's going to go onto here. Now, where are we going to put the flowers? This may depend on, I'm not going to stick them for the minute because it may depend on what sentiment I have. So I'll look for that now and I will be right back. I looked through my supply of sentiments and I decided that something fairly small was in order. So I chose one of these Sizzix sentiment stamps, the negative ones, and this is 665909 Pete. So I've got it in my stamping platform, and looking at the colour of these stems, those two markers, I think that bundled sage should be quite a good match for me to stamp the sentiment with. So I'm going to try and see what it looks like. I'm not sure if I've actually stamped this one before. Pretty good. Haven't done any treatment to it, so do one more. I can't believe it's a week since the Kenilworth Day. I think another one is being planned for next spring. They are such fun. I think that's fine. So let's cut this one out. And the colour goes beautifully, doesn't it? So that's a piece of luck. So that's, I'll just give you the reminder of these numbers. If you have Ohuhu markers, G240 and G220. Pretty good match for bundled sage. Okay, let's cut this out. There we go. So let's have a look at this. I think people who find arranging flowers like this kind of tricky to do this sort of business, you know, the crossover, sometimes it just looks kind of awkward. And if you're not sure, the easiest thing is often to put them just parallel, have the stems kind of parallel, and it kind of looks okay. I think I'll do it parallel this time actually, and I'll put them in the centre. What I was thinking was to have that across there. So I'll put a piece of foam tape behind, but leave a little gap so that we don't get a hump in the middle where it goes over the stems. And I am also wondering whether to put some shimmer onto this. The problem I have with that, if I tried to do that, would be the shimmer pens are water-based, distress oxides are water-based, and as you pulled it across like this, as you painted it on, some of the green would go over into where the letters are, and that wouldn't be so vital. So I'm thinking that that probably is not the way forward. If I wanted a bit of shine, I could perhaps use some distress glaze, some of Tim Holt's distress glaze, or even clear embossing powder and heat emboss it just to make it shiny. But I think it's going to be fine as is. So I'll put a bit of tape on this going from each end and leaving a gap in the centre. It's a bit, I've got a hair stuck to it, come from a piece of something or other, I know not what, and it's a bit too long. Let's just see if that is, I think that's going to do it, yes, and about the same the other side. There we are. So first, before I put that on, I need to stick these down, and I think I'm just going to do that with a bit of glue, a bit of craft glue. Just going to do a trail. These will be trapped, of course, by the sentiment. It'll be kept in place by that. That should be fine. I've been having difficulty keeping this clear. One of the reasons I haven't used this so often, I've tried several times to clear it, and often it gets clogged again. I use spirit, you know, isopropyl alcohol to try and clean it off, but it gets then a bit gloopy. So I'm trying to make sure I can clean it each time. Right, let's pop this, we said, in the centre. There we are. Only needs to be sticking part of the place and it should be fine. I was offered an affiliation with Simon Says Stamp, but I can't work out how to do the links and everything, so I'm afraid I can't sort it. The technology is a bit much for me. There we are. So, really simple, really easy, clean and simple card with just a few die cuts and one stamp. I'm pleased with that. I like it. I'm not always pleased with what I do, but I do like that one. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for the thumbs ups and checking your subscriptions, and do come back and see me really soon.